Welcome to today's deep dive into the source material, where we're looking at a June 25th, 2026 industry report originally sourced from the Seoul Economic Daily. I'm your host, and as always, I'm joined by our resident industry expert.
Great to be here. And yeah, we have a really fascinating report to unpack today.
We really do. I mean, when you think about a country's main exports, you usually just picture massive cargo ships leaving a port.
Right, the classic linear manufacturing model.
Exactly. You make it here, you ship it to the buyer. Simple, one-way street. But today's report shows that this entire cargo ship model is basically being dismantled mid-ocean.
It really is.
We're looking at rapid structural shifts in Korea's manufacturing and tech sectors. And our mission today is to figure out how these developments actually change global markets and, well, the technology you interact with every single day.
And I think the most dramatic shift we're seeing is definitely happening in defense.
Oh, for sure.
Korea's defense industry just crossed a major structural threshold. I mean, they aren't just exporting anymore.
Right. They are running simultaneous export and local production operations in 4 different countries now, right?
Exactly, with a 5th one just confirmed.
So it's sort of like a wildly popular local restaurant realizing they can't just mail their prepackaged meals globally anymore. Like, to survive, they literally have to build franchise kitchens right in the buyer's country.
That's a great way to put it, actually.
But why the sudden need for local kitchens in the defense world?
Well, the reason they suddenly need those local operations comes down to 2 major pivots, both driven by recent global conflicts. The first was in 2022, following the invasion of Ukraine.
Right, which triggered that massive rush for direct sales to places like Poland and Australia.
Yeah, and the Middle East, too. But the second pivot is what actually drove the demand for local production, and that stems from the U.S.-Iran conflict.
Which makes sense. I imagine seeing your hardware actually perform in a live combat zone, well, it changes the sales pitch completely.
It changes the pitch, yeah. But more importantly, it changes what the buyer demands. Buyers saw Korean air defense systems in action and realized, they don't just want to buy the equipment, they want the security of making it themselves on their own soil.
Yeah, you want control over the supply chain.
Exactly. And if NATO spending reaches 5% of GDP, we are looking at a 56 trillion won addressable market in Europe alone by 2035.
Wow, so that's roughly, what, 40 billion US dollars?
About that, yeah, in potential revenue. But only if you have the local infrastructure to actually secure those contracts.
So defense hardware is basically becoming a localized franchise.
Yeah.
But consumer hardware is undergoing a similarly radical identity shift, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It's no longer just about making a beautiful screen. It's about what the hardware does once it's actually in your home or, on your wrist.
Right. Look at LG Electronics. They just captured 50.5% of global OLED TV shipments in Q1 2026.
Which marks a 13-year streak.
Yeah. And the hardware itself is incredibly sleek. We're talking about a 0.9 centimeter wireless panel.
It's barely thicker than a smartphone.
It is. But here's where I have to push back on the report a bit.
Okay.
It says, these TVs have 5.6 times the AI processing power of the last model. Is a 5.6x AI multiplier just a marketing buzzword, or does that actually change the experience for someone sitting on their couch?
Well, it actually translates to a very tangible difference. With that much localized processing power, the TV isn't just passively displaying an image anymore.
So what is it doing?
It's actively analyzing and reconstructing the visual and audio data in real time, frame by frame.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, to optimize the quality based on your specific room's lighting and acoustics. It basically turns a simple screen into a highly active processing hub.
That is wild. And speaking of hardware changing its identity, Samsung's Galaxy Watch is entering pharmaceutical clinical trials.
Yeah, this is fascinating.
But wait, how does a watch track if a pill's actually working?
Well, instead of relying on patients to remember to write down their symptoms in a journal every day, the watch passively tracks things.
Oh, like heart rate variability and sleep disruptions.
Exactly. And even micro movements in real time. So if a new drug causes a slight tremor, or say it elevates your resting heart rate at 2 a.m.
The watch catches it instantly.
Right. It uses live biometric data to turn everyday life into a controlled clinical lab.
That makes total sense.
Right.
But all of this rapid expansion, building global defense kitchens and pushing consumer tech into clinical trials, it brings us to a pretty massive domestic hurdle.
Yeah, the labor reality check.
Right. Hyundai Motors Union, which is 39,000 members strong, just voted 92% in favor of strike action.
Which is huge.
They are bringing the risk of 2 consecutive years of production disruption to the table. Could these massive domestic labor bottlenecks threaten the rapid global manufacturing momentum we just discussed?
It's the critical tension right now. I mean, you can have the most advanced AI processing or the most lucrative global defense contracts.
But if the fundamental domestic engine stalls, the whole strategy wobbles.
Exactly. And it actually highlights exactly why that local production strategy we discussed in defense is so vital.
Oh, because building factories abroad diversifies their risk.
Right. Away from purely domestic manufacturing bottlenecks. They have to decentralize.
So Korea is aggressively transitioning from that traditional one-way cargo ship exporter into a deeply integrated global production partner, specifically to navigate this real domestic friction.
It's a complete structural evolution.
Fascinating. But let's circle back to that smartwatch for a second.
Sure.
If the everyday consumer wearables we strap to our wrists are now robust enough to passively collect live data for clinical drug trials,
Yeah.
how long until consumer tech companies effectively become our primary healthcare providers?
Oh, that is a wild thought.
Just something for you to mull over the next time your watch pings you.